Well, hi there, beach friends. We are going to be spending our time today doing what we always do, looking for seashells over at Lighthouse Beach Park over on Sanibel. Now, I was over here not too long ago. I had myself such a great time. I really had to come back, and I think I did learn something, which of course I'm going to pass along to you. So we will be looking for seashells, and we are going to find a couple of them, including a really pretty little white shell and some weird mystery shell. So maybe somebody can help me out with that. And then of course, if we see a couple critters along the way, we are also going to say hi to them. So Lighthouse Beach is a gorgeous place to spend a couple of hours, and we are just going to meander around looking for beach treasures and seeing whatever else might be out on the beach for us to discover. So if you're ready for a salty adventure, let's go to the beach. Okay, I'm pretty excited to be back here at Lighthouse Beach on Sanibel Island because the last time I was here, I think I finally cracked the code on how to find Wenzel traps. They are these tiny little, beautiful little white shells. So I am really hoping to find a couple of them while I'm here today. Now, the last time I came here, the tide was pretty low. And let's talk about tides. So today, this is what the tide looks like. It is not going to be really low. It is in the morning at some point. So I'm going to try to hit this low tide at 10:14, but you'll notice it's only 1.2 feet. So it's really quite high. The last time I was here, this is what the tides looked like. And I was here about this time. So the tide was really, really low. I mean, it was actually negative. So this time the tide is much, much higher, and that is going to play a part in our shelling. So this is a scallop. It is quite possible that this was hinged. We see some barnacles that are clearly not viable. This could have been hinged, and I know that because the scallops, the two sides are going to be different colors. They're going to be different patterns. So the one kind of has those checkers. The other side is not going to have that. So that is a calico scallop. That is a Dosinia. This is called a disc Dosinia, and it does have a little drill hole up top. It's got little tiny lines. It'll kind of look like record player lines to me. So we are at the point, we're really, really close to the actual lighthouse itself, and the water is so clear, like ridiculously clear. And there's shells here, so super happy to see that. That's one of our common crossbarred Venus clam shells with that little bit of purple on the inside. Our next contender is a giant Atlantic cockle. Yep, real pretty. Yep, still sand in there. No problem. And so just, again, it's good. And it's hard to find shells this time of year. That's variable worm snail. So in the summer, it's a lot slower. So always happy really to find anything of interest. Wow, an apple murex. Well, okay, that is a great find. Fantastic little apple murex. You know, I happen to really like being part of the shelling community because so many people have shared little tips and tricks with me, and then I in turn pass them along to you. I have heard here that you can look up underneath the trees, so that's what I'm doing at this point. It doesn't really look like there's much here, so I'm going to wander back down by the water. Looks like we have one of those coquinas. So that is a little coquina. Little white one, fantastic. I got a hankering for a certain little white shell. This little shell is a kitten paw, a really tiny little kitten paw. But that is a little kitten paw. And another coquina. And they look just like little butterflies when they're open. So that is another little clam shell. Very pretty little shells. All right, and this, man, the tiny shells are so hard to handle, especially when I'm trying to show you. But I try. I do my best. So this, I wasn't really sure. Is it a turret But let's see if I can kind of get a good look at it. There we go. Nope, just an auger. So after all that, it's hard to tell, but once you can kind of get a good look at it, you can tell that is really just a very tiny common auger. And that's okay. Pretty cool. Oh, what do we have here? Just rolling around. So that, my friends, is one of the shells I came to find. That is a Wentel trap. Isn't it gorgeous? Now, just notice too the way those blades on it, there's no bumps on those blades. It's really just shell, those little vertical blades, and that's it. There's other shells that really look like Wentel traps that are not, but those little blades will have bumps on it. Here we have another real pretty yellow coquina. And oh, isn't it darling? That is a little tiny apple murex. And another little coquina. Oh, gorgeous little purple one. So we're definitely going to find some itty bitty shells today. Oh, and I'm chasing something real tiny. What do we got? I think it's another one of those little augers. I honestly can't tell. It's just so small. So that's what I think it is. Or maybe that is a turret. Nah, I'm gonna go auger. I think I saw some of those vertical lines. And so it's been, I mean, this water is so clear and you can really get down. That is another one of those coquinas. So luckily, again, and it's really kind of gentle. I mean, that's it from a wave perspective. You're looking at like little blurp, blurp, and that's it with the waves. So right where I am right now anyway, great conditions. That is a itty bitty fighting conch. So that is one of those little fighting conch shells. Gorgeous. And here, all right, it's a little bit bigger, so I can tell for sure we're looking at an auger. Very cool though. And it's funny because I don't tend to find like the little itty bitty augers. It looks like it's a good day for itty bitty shells. So again, just for reference, kind of where I am, and the tide is high. The last time I was here, there was a lot more beach to go through. Yeah, and it's just about as low as it's going to get, which isn't that low, but that's okay. You know, anything you can do to increase your chances, try to go at low tide or at least as low as you can. It can help a little bit. And another auger. Let's see, I did see something in there, and that's just a little piece of shell. So not a critter or anything. We're going to be able to hold on to that lovely auger. Okay, bubble. So bubbles and coffee grinds. So those little black things kind of floating around. Those are what I'm looking for, and I'm hoping that will in turn lead to another Wentel trap. So that is what, it's really kind of what I'm looking for. If something else pops up, by all means, I'll go ahead and pay attention to that shell as well. What do we got here? Okay, just a piece. So that, well, it's actually most of an apple murex. And here, it's mostly little crushed up pieces. I was, again, hoping perhaps there'll be a Wentel trap or, oh, look. That is a little tiny spotted slipper snail. Cute little thing. Why are little things so cute? Here's another cute little thing. So that is another one of those fighting conchs. Itty bitty little fighting conch. Beautiful. Now, I know it's a little fuzzy, but guess what? I got two shells, and one of them is a Wentel trap. It's practically huge. So that is a gorgeous. I'm not even going to pay attention to the other shell. Don't care. Let's just talk about the Wentel trap because it's so cool and white. And again, it has those blades that do not have anything bumpy on them. So that's when we know that we definitely found a Wentel trap. And yet again, another fighting conch. So it looks like this is the fighting conch well, and also the coquinas. Oh, look, a darling little nutmeg. Fantastic little shell. wonderful to find another little variety of shell and nutmeg. And another auger. Do kind of like the augers. That's another shell that I do tend to pick up. Every single time I see it, I will pick them up. The augers. Oh, hi, critter. So this is, someone just reminded me recently, this is not a starfish, this is a sea star. And this one specifically is a short-spined sea star. So we'll just say hi, you gorgeous thing, you, and then we'll just we'll do our thing over here while you do your thing over there. See if anything pops out at us. Oh, look, a little NASA. And then I was kind of looking at the inside. I didn't know if there was anything in there, but it was really just the shell. It was very dark, and so the coloring came right through. So that is a little, I believe, a bruised NASA shell. All right, and not exciting at all. Okay, now this. I know it's a seraph, but it just looks weird to me. And then I started it looks broken, but yet not. So is this, all right, so I'd done a little bit of research and I didn't think it was a dark seraph, which is one of the seraphs I usually find. I think, big fat T, think that is a stocky seraph. So it doesn't really match a lot of the pictures that I found. So if anybody does know, am I bonkers? Is it really just a dark seraph, or is that a different kind of seraph? I would love for you to tell me. So that looks like a dark seraph to me. It's a little broken. That's not as unusual as the one before it. So I'd love for someone to help me out with another little shell mystery. This is not a mystery. It is tiny and, again, very darling. It is a little apple murex shell. Let's have ourselves another little apple murex. Wonderful. And, aw, that is a chestnut turban. A little worse for wear. It's got some holes. It's a little beat up, so I'm not going to collect that. Still nice to see it. That is another little slipper snail. They confound me, those slippers, because they always look like something else. But here we have a little one, and then a little bit bigger slipper snail. All right, the scallop was just hanging out waiting for me. So this is a calico scallop. Pretty little shell. And a tinted cantharus. So there's another cantharus, the ribbed cantharus. Love, love, love that shell. This is a tinted cantharus. Actually a really good condition tinted cantharus at that. And this is another auger. And I will tell you, be real careful if you're, especially with the augers in the water. Could be a critter, so make sure those shells are empty before you take them home. Now this looks like a good spot just because there was such a nice concentration of shells. I'm going to kind of, oh, it's just this shot is beautiful. Clear water with the seashells. The water's only a couple inches deep. All right, what did I spy? Oh, there we go. Well, it is a sharp ribbed drill. Those are tiny little things. They only get about that big, and they're kind of flat on the bottom, which I just think they're really interesting. So I really like these. Sharp ribbed drill. Okay, and a channeled duck clam. Now these also are known as sailor's ears. I typically just call them the channeled duck clam, and someone has asked me if you could tell me the difference between that and a discdocenia. Happen to have them. You'll see on the left. All right, so your channeled duck clam, it's got much deeper grooves in it, where the discdocenia on the right is really kind of just flat. It is grooved, but you can barely tell. Channeled duck clam is also a little taller of a shell. Discdocenia is very flat. So hopefully that helps you identify this as a channeled duck clam. Correct, Amundo. Nice. Okay. No way. gorgeous little moon snail. So this is known as a shark eye, and it also is a Paul Newman shark eye. It looks like it might even be a false one, but who cares? It's gorgeous. It's got that blue Paul Newman eye. Gorgeous moon snail. All right, I'm back. Looking for bubbles and coffee grinds. It's barely any waves, so perfect conditions. Well, looky here. Now, this is organic, and the first thing that popped into my head is this is part of a skate, maybe the grinding plate of a skate. And I think I know that from going shark tooth hunting, but I couldn't really find any information on what this is. That's what I think it is. It is organic. I think it's part of some sort of stingray or some sort of skate. Once again, if you happen to know, if you could leave me a comment, that would be fantastic. This I do know. This is a lettered olive. Very lovely little lettered olive. So, pretty day. In it, very popular beach. Sanibel in general, you're going to find a lot of people, and especially at this beach. Now, I have no idea what that is. I don't think I've ever seen one before. I'm leaning seraph. I don't really know. It's kind of reminding me of that stocky seraph, but I'm not really sure. And I know it's a little hard to tell just because the whole shell is very white. Perhaps it's an albino something. I don't know. So another mystery. If you could help me out and drop a comment, that would be awesome. I found some critters. So here's some cloudy periwinkles. So these are little sea snails of sorts. They don't live in the water. They just live near the splash zone. So you won't find them in the water. They can tolerate it, but mostly they stay out of the water. Kind of in this area. Close to the water, but not actually submerged. And what did I get? Another apple murex. Wow. That's so weird. So what's that, like maybe 4 apple murex today? All right, I'll take it. So, see some coffee grinds. Still looking for those elusive little lentil traps. Now, I did bring this little container, or this little sifter rather, and I don't know that it would actually help, but what it does do is it stops the motion. So if you really just wanted to grab, a handful of stuff and look, this does allow you to do that. Kind of gives you that extra time. So yeah, probably, it's light enough. I probably will keep this little thing in my backpack just in case. So it would be good to, again, to kind of just check out your little goodies where they're not kind of getting pushed all over the place. So at this point, the tide is coming in. Not that the tide really helped us that much. I tried. I came as low as I possibly could. And look, we did find a couple lentil traps. I'm still looking. Here is another one of those fighting conchs. So it's on the juvenile side, one of those small Florida fighting conchs. And a paper fig. Oh, darn. Well, it's got a little hole in the top of it, but that is a little paper fig. They tend to like Sanibel. I like Sanibel. I can see why they do. So again, up here, just in the off chance, you never know. Maybe there'll be a baby's ear sitting here. Or a lentil trap. And if you do see one, don't tell me. If you see one and I didn't pick it up, please don't tell me. It'll drive me bananas. I'm just kidding. By all means. This is another kitten paw. If you guys happen to have better peepers than me, well, you just tell me. You leave me a comment down below. So I do know, again, at this point, the tide is coming in. I think I've kind of done as much as I really can. It's getting a little bit harder looking for the tiny shells. So I'll meander around in a little bit deeper water. And by deeper, I mean like 2 feet. Because again, this is a very wide, shallow beach. People just just walk out into the water, just kind of hang out for a while. So I am still looking for seashells. So I'm out seeing what might be out there. Not surprising, a giant Atlantic cockle. I call these beach bowls. They are fantastic for holding your little treasures. And here, I think somebody else probably found these before I did. These are southern quahogs, or quahogs if you like to pronounce them incorrectly, like I used to before somebody corrected me. So these are southern quahogs. They have soaked up some of those colors, or it's actually oxidized and making them a little bit blue. I'm probably not going to collect those. These, on the other hand, so we have a calico scallop and another little worm snail. So those are kind of cool. I'm probably going to hold on to those. And then two more of those calico scallops. And like we talked about earlier, those two are not from the same animal. Those are from two different animals because those patterns match. That is a giant Atlantic cockle, although it is on the small side. That is what that lovely little shell is. It's a little giant Atlantic cockle. Now, notice how calm the water was and it kind of got kicked up here? Any idea why that happened? Anything? Nope, did not get some weird wind. It's from a boat, perhaps a boat or two. So the water will be really, really calm. A boat will go by and it really just kind of kicks up that water. And if you're going to pick up garbage, why not have this little daisy on it, right? So I am going to remove this from the garbage, or I'm going to remove it from the beach. It is garbage, but it is at least cute garbage. Little daisy something or other. Okay. So I do have a nice concentrated kind of pack of shells here. There is another giant Atlantic cockle. A little bit on the lighter side, still pretty. Doesn't have those rich, rich colors. And I did bring this little tool. It's very, very light. And I'm bringing that so if I see the shells that are really hard packed together, you don't want to use your hand. Shells can be quite sharp. And I myself have cut myself. So don't use your hand. Use another shell or a tool of sorts. So I've loosened it up. Looks like pretty much your arc's crossbarred Venus. I did see a corrugated jewel box in there. Here's a scallop, okay. So loosened up a little bit of stuff, but it's still pretty much looking like the common stuff. Here is a slipper, and a little jingle, also known as a baby's foot. You see that little white mark on the other side? And then a handful, again, of mostly arcs. Probably a couple of crossbarred Venus clams in there, so it is shells, but it's most of the common stuff. It doesn't look like there is much more of the really kind of interesting gastropods or, tulips, apple murex, things of that nature. This is another very common shell, but I just like them. It's got a fancy name too. It's got broad-ribbed cardita. And they come in nice, rich colors, nice hardy shell. Here we have another one of that's just a calico scallop, but it's just so pretty. And I do say it pretty much every time I come to Sanibel. Sanibel has the best scallops. They really do. And on the off chance you were considering either buying a vacation home here or moving here, I do have a contact. So you can come here and do this whenever you like. That is a crossbarred Venus clam. And my friend Heather can help you move here and go out shelling like this. So Heather's information is in the description box below. Maybe you can come and find yourself one of these little Florida horse conchs. And Sanibel is a great place to visit. The point we are here at the Lighthouse, it's a little crowded. And so I'm going to relocate. We've kind of done what we were going to do here anyway. It's a little on the crowded side. So I'm going to take a quick drive up the beach and we are going to go to another location. Mostly just to see what other kind of things are here on the beach. So I'm at Folger Street. It's very close to Gulfside City Park. In case you wanted to come to this area, I have a very fancy, expensive parking permit that allows me to park here. And where is here exactly? Well, this is Sanibel Island. This is where we were over at Lighthouse Beach, and this is where we are now. So we kind of traveled not too far, but a little bit up the beach, and it will change things. The beach will be different. How different? Well, let's just see. Again, Sanibel and those fantastic scallops. And the coquinas. Beautiful. Another scallop. Yep. And a kitten paw. Terrific. Okay, so it's similar shells that we were finding. Of course, you're going to have your common shells, but there's lots of coquinas for sure, which works for me. All right. So now we've kind of checked that out. Let's go see what's in the water. Here's the view. Lovely day. Okay, first thing I'm noticing, it's a lot more cloudy. The water clarity is not as good as it was up at Lighthouse. So it's a little bit cloudier. And did just not a scoop, really, just kind of grabbed what's in the water here. And so a lot of they look smaller to me. So some of the shells here, they're looking smaller, and I have a ton more of those coquinas. So a lot more coquinas here than we were seeing over at the Lighthouse Beach. And yeah, it's it's not really easy to see. It looks like a bunch of white stuff just kind of flopping around in the surf there, so, which is fine, but I also kind of know, for the most part, it's your common shells. So here we have this lovely, just a half of a coquina, and it is just so beautiful here. I think it is time for us all to enjoy some beach time. And I bet this little ibis here was busy eating up those coquinas. So the coquinas are very, very important to the entire ecological system of everything that goes down here. A lot of critters depend on eating them. So they're important to feed some of the other animals that are here on the beach. Oh, so pretty. So we have these are all calico scallops. Beautiful. They come in such a beautiful variety of colors. Yep, that is also a calico scallop. So I'll talk about variety. You got all those rich colors, and then sometimes they'll be very, very white. And then top to bottom, we got a kitten paw, one of those coquinas, and yet another calico scallop. So that was our time here. It's pretty fun. I got a bunch of different stuff. Definitely low tide helps you find those lentil traps for sure. I think I found like 8 or 10 when I went. Today was 2. Still found them. Still was a great day. Found a lot of really fun stuff. Happy to have come, but try low tide. If you really want those lentil traps, try low tide. So I took barely any garbage. It's 0.2 ounces, but I think every little bit counts. So in total, I've removed 5.22225 pounds of garbage from the beach, and all of these fun things, starting with, got a couple of jingles, some crossbarred Venus, that broad rib cardita, the Distocenia, a couple of those slippers, some of the smaller fighting conchs. We did get a bunch of those coquinas, all different colors, really pretty. We got some augers and some seraphes. We are into the scallops here, so a bunch of those calico scallops. And then we have some of those channel duck clams, the giant Atlantic clams, and then some of the more fancier shells. The apple murex shells, we did get one little nutmeg, the horse conch, the tinted cantharus, the lettered olives, my favorite, the 2 lentil traps, that shark rib drill, kitten paws, that one really blue shark eye, the skate, I think maybe some worm snail, all sorts of fun stuff. It really was fun. It was a beautiful day. Great to be out there. Patreons, thank you so, so much. I really do appreciate you more than you can know. I really do. And everybody else who watches, I appreciate all of you, all your love, your notes, your comments, all of it. Next week, we're going on a tour. We're going on a tour with SWFL Shell Guide. It's going to be fun. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday.